I have got thousands of articles on me that are literally just poof, made up, invented, that also have resulted in thousands of death threats to me. And none of these people will ever be held accountable. None of these people will ever have to pay fines like this. None of these people will be dragged through the media for making stuff up. Jury awards parents of Sandy Hook shooting victim $4.1 million in defamation case against Alex Jones. The parents sought $150 million in their defamation lawsuit against the conspiracy theorist. The jury could still issue more damages in an upcoming phase of the trial. That was 1 hour ago. A Texas jury on Thursday ordered, okay, we've already read that. Neil Heslin and Scarlett Lewis were seeking $150 million from Jones after he told listeners of his Austin-based website and broadcast InfoWars that the nation's second deadliest shooting, in which 20 children and 6 adults were killed, was faked by the government in order to take away Americans' guns. His claims led to his listeners to harass the victims' families and make death threats against them for years. The jury's verdict delivers far less than that, but there is still an opportunity to award more money. Thursday's verdict was to determine compensatory damages for the family. The case will now enter a new phase to determine punitive damages, which can be rewarded to punish a defendant for reckless, negligent, or outrageous behavior, or to deter future bad acts. Jones has spread misinformation about national tragedies, COVID-19, and elections for years to a broad national audience. But lately, financial pressures, in part from multiple lawsuits from Sandy Hook parents, have put him in a dire financial strait. Apparently on his show yesterday, he was actually going off about it, saying he was potentially going to have to cancel a few shows and declare bankruptcy. It's, InfoWars makes a lot of money, but I don't know how many, lawyers are freaking expensive, right? I don't know how many lawsuits on how many fronts you can handle. It's Alex Jones will survive, of course, but will InfoWars? I think my assumption is that InfoWars will survive, but I don't know. Apparently Alex, I was talking to a few friends, apparently he was being pretty depressed about it all. He's looking pretty stressed on his show lately. Okay, here we go. His companies have filed for bankruptcy multiple times in recent months, including most recently during the defamation trial. The Austin American-Statesman reported that Jones' attorney, Andino Reynolds, asked jurors to award a total of $8, a dollar for each of the 8 harms the court has already found. $8, a dollar for each of the harms the court has already found Jones and his main company, Free Speech Systems, to have inflicted on Heslin and Lewis. Jurors decided the amount of damages Jones owes the parents after listening to the evidence and testimonies from a range of witnesses for 7 days. During their testimonies Tuesday, Heslin and Lewis said Jones needed to be held accountable for the lies he told. Blah, blah, blah. During his testimony Wednesday, Jones admitted that the Sandy Hook shooting was 100% real. One of the plaintiff's attorneys, Mark Bankston, confronted Jones on Wednesday with several pieces of evidence that suggested Jones had lied during his testimony. Bankston told him that Jones' own attorneys had... Okay, I watched the video of this. I think I'm going to bring up the clip in a minute here, but this is freaking wild. I don't know how this happened. I can't even fathom how this is real. But Bankston told him that Jones' own attorneys had accidentally sent the opposing counsel the contents of Jones' phone from the last 2 years. How does that happen? Can someone explain to me how that happens? Was Jones set up? How can your lawyers be so freaking stupid? I'm sorry, make that big of a mess up. He better not be paying any legal fees to these guys, I'll tell you right now. He then pointed out several texts and other evidence that contradicted Jones' previous testimony. Because here's the thing: when I was watching the video, when they sent those text messages to the opposing counsel for whatever reason, accidentally, there were texts. I think it was to Paul Joseph Watson too. They were saying in the court. I'll have to watch the video again, where he mentions Sandy Hook and Alex said he didn't have any texts in his phone about it. But then Alex's counsel sent his text messages to the opposing counsel in which they found text messages about Sandy Hook. So then now they're probably going to go after him for perjury in court, lying in court. Oh my gosh, how does that even happen? You're saying Discovery in the chat, but if it was Discovery, they'd just say it was in Discovery and Alex would know that was in Discovery. So, because when you give Discovery to each other, you know what you're giving. I started the process of a legal case against Patreon. I did a video on my channel about it. and you go through, you see what they request. So if the opposing counsel requests 2 years of your text messages, Alex knows that's being sent over. So he wouldn't be caught off guard by what they had in discovery, right? So the fact that he was caught off guard and sitting there like, oh my gosh, what do I even say to this? Does kind of seem, as the opposing counsel said, like it was an accident. That's just why. Here, I'm gonna bring up the video because it's just such a weird moment in court. Also, I apologize. YouTube is so bad. I kept trying to find some good summaries of the Alex Jones trial on YouTube, but YouTube will only recommend mainstream media sources. It's like just CNN, CBC, all of that is the #1 search results. You can't find any alternative news when you try to search for it unless you know like the very specific search terms you're looking for. Very annoying. Oh, did I miss a super chat here? 1 minute. American Badger says, dang, changing from Sydney Watson stream to Lauren Southern stream is like drinking a Diet Coke after only having had Diet Pepsi for a while. So the same thing? Are Diet Coke and Diet Pepsi this? I don't know. I can't taste the difference. Okay. All us white women on the internet are the same. I see how it is. All right. Alex Jones trial. Where is this? Also, you know, Alex Jones saying the Sandy Hook shooting was 100% real and like doing all these apologies. It's great and all to get an apology from someone. It's great and all to, you know, whatever. But it's great when those things are genuine. When you've got a massive legal and government system forcing an apology on you and forcing you to admit something's real. Like, if I were a parent in this case, obviously I can't speak for them, but if I were anyone dealing with anything, I don't want an apology from someone that's forced. I don't know about you guys. I just don't care for that. If you want to give me a real apology, great. I'm not going to make you do it because I don't want that from you. I want something that's genuine. And like, you know, oh, they got all these videos. Look at Alex Jones says Sandy Hook shooting 100% real. I don't really care about that because you have no way of knowing if that's actually his changed opinion or if it's because he's got a dozen companies that are about to go bankrupt and he's about to go bankrupt, right? There's no, all of those little things, it doesn't seem like there's much point to it, but I guess that's what they're looking for in the court. I don't know. I'm trying to find... phone records. Here we go. Alex Jones reacts to scathing exposure of fraud. Is this the video? We'll see. We'll find out. All right. If I can get it up on screen. You know, just having a day, okay? Here we go. All right. We're bringing it up. Desktop audio. Get that on. Ba-ba-ba. Can you guys hear it? I hope you can.
Is that your phone number?
Yes.
Whose messages are those? Whose phone is this taken from?
I don't know whose phone's taken from.
Did you know that 12 days ago, your attorneys messed up and sent me an entire digital copy of your entire cell phone with every text message you've sent for the past 2 years, and when informed, did not take any steps to identify it as privileged or protect it in any way. And as of 2 days ago, it fell free and clear into my possession. And that is how I know you lied to me when you said you didn't have text messages about Sandy Hook. Did you know that?
Look at, how does that happen? I'm sorry, guys. How does that There's something funny going on here. I'll tell you right now. How does this man get the worst damn attorneys in the country working? These are worse than the guys going against Rittenhouse. Holy. Alex is just like literally sweating here.
See, I told you the truth. This is your Perry Mason moment. I gave them my phone, and then...
Mr. Jones, you need to answer the question.
No,
Did you know this happened?
No, I didn't know this happened. But I mean, I told you I gave them the phone over.
But just
And
answer
you
the
said-
question.
You know what perjury is, right? I just want to make sure you know before we go any further. You know what it is.
Yes, I do. I mean, I'm not a tech guy. I told you I gave, in my testimony, the phone to the lawyers before or whatever, and so you got my phone, but we didn't give it to you.
No, Mr. Jones. One more time. And please remember, if you need to assert the Fifth Amendment, you can. I need to know that you can do that. But you testified under oath previously that you personally searched your phone for the phrase Sandy Hook, and there were no messages. You said that under oath.
Yes.
And you lied when you said it.
No, I did not lie.
So I'd like to see, can we see what those texts are? Does he bring them up? Are we able to see them on the screen, or is it going to be, oh,
Whose phone is
it looks like it's blurred on the video. Okay, so the only other explanation the only other explanation for this is that maybe they sent bulk files over with Discovery and Alex did a search and doesn't really understand tech and didn't think he had them in his phone. But I don't know why. No. In a case like this, you would have to be so careful about what you're sending over, right? You'd have to go through all of it. You wouldn't just send like a bulk of emails or something. You wouldn't just send like, okay, here's a bunch of messages we haven't first gone through to make sure we're not committing perjury, right? It just, I get the idea that like there could have just been a mistake made. You know, Alex doesn't really know what's in there, or he didn't think it was in the context that it would be used in. But no, like in a case this high profile with so much money on the line, it doesn't make sense to me that they wouldn't have gone through every bit of evidence they would have been sending over to the other side. So it does sound like it was genuinely a mistake. And if so, I think Alex is there's going to be some interesting conversations going on with his attorney right now. That's for sure. Archeon, I'll answer your question about music later. We're going through the Alex Jones stuff, my friend. Self-sabotage. Results just came in, only paid $4 million. That's a win for Alex. Yeah, that is, it was, they were going for $150 million. So $4 million isn't that bad. Still. Okay. We'll go, before I get into the Brittany Griner stuff, just quickly, obviously there's still stuff going with this. The reason I am not all up in arms about the Alex Jones, Sandy Hook stuff. And the reason I do think there is a political aspect to this case is every single damn outlet in America lie every single damn day. I know this as much as anyone else in my industry. I have got thousands of articles on me that are literally just poof, made up, invented, that also have resulted in thousands of death threats to me. I just got, I get messages every other morning saying, I'm going to kill your family. Like, this happens to me all the time. And I have New York Post writers saying that I was firing flares off the coast of Miami at like Puerto Ricans and stuff, just making stuff up. Not even, it's like a game of Chinese telephone that's gone so whack. I can't even, I'm learning new facts about myself every day from the mainstream media. And none of these people will ever be held accountable. None of these people will ever have to pay fines like this. None of these people will be dragged through the media for making stuff up. Yeah. Alex Jones said something that I don't think was very intelligent of him to say. He says a lot of stuff. And I actually like the guy. I actually, on a personal level, he's always been really nice to me. But, yeah, I don't think he should have said the Sandy Hook massacre was fake, obviously. But when I look at this and I compare it to all the lies I see every damn day in the media that no one does anything about, there's not going to be a single outlet in Canada that is going to have to pay fines for the fact that 50 churches were attacked and burnt down in Canada because they said there was a genocide and mass graves of children created by nuns that the government was covering up. No one's going to have to pay fines for that. That's wild. That's not even, Alex is just saying a tragedy didn't happen. The Canadians are straight up making up a tragedy and causing violence as a result. How many terror attacks has Alex Jones caused by, what he said here? I know the Canadian media have caused a bunch of hate crimes. I know that. And they're not getting fined. They're not getting dragged through the courts. Obviously, it was a bunch of American outlets that did that too. So forgive me if I'm sitting here like, this is all a bit political. Even though Jones was wrong, I still can't help but see the political angle here. Right? Oh, that's just my opinion. I mean, if we were holding everyone in media to account like this, if every outlet that reported there were mass graves had to pay $4 million, I'd be like, awesome. Make Alex do it too. Right? Great. If you say something that you can't substantiate and you blast it out to a massive audience and not only can't substantiate it, but there's evidence to the contrary, bam, there you go. You get your fine. But that's not how the system works. It's not how it's ever worked. The fact that it's working this way now, And Alex's lawyers are accidentally sending entire, 2 years of text messages worth to the opposing side, potentially getting him, in trouble with perjury. It's just, I don't know. The whole thing seems weird to me. Seems funny. I can't tell you what's going on, but it doesn't seem right. Need a vape.